Hi, welcome to the Cool Reader Show. I'm your host, Johnny Duckett, and today we have two fantastic Cool Readers for you. They're going to be coming to you from Philo Hill Middle School Magnet Academy. Right, Philo Hill Magnet Academy. And our first Cool Reader is going to be Zaire Hawthorne. How you doing today, Zaire?
I'm doing good.
Okay. Now tell me, what grade are you in?
I'm in 7th.
Okay. And how old are you?
13.
Okay. Good deal. All right. Now tell me, what book do you have for us today?
Forced by Fire by Sharon Draper.
Okay. And that's definitely one of the Battle of the books, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, could you tell me a little bit about Forged by Fire?
Well, it's about a boy named Gerald, and basically it's about him becoming the man that he is at the end of the book based on the hard experiences that he goes through in the book.
Okay. Now tell me, what type of book is it?
What exactly do you mean by that?
Is it fiction, nonfiction, historical fiction?
Well, I guess it's fiction.
Okay. Now tell me, which character in Forged by Fire did you like the best?
Gerald, most definitely.
Gerald, and why Gerald?
Because he's brave, and he took care of his sister when they were going through the tough times.
Okay. Now, does this book teach you any lessons?
Yes. It teaches how bravery and strength will always come through, and that how even if you go through tough experiences, that will make you better in life.
Okay. Now, if you could change any part of the Forged by Fire story, which part would you change? If you could change anything?
I don't think I would really change any of it because I just feel like it's a great book and that every single part of it was poetic.
Okay. Have you read any other books about Sharon Draper?
Yes, Tears of a Tiger.
Okay. Now, was this book easy to read?
Tears of a Tiger or this?
No, Forged by Fire.
Yeah, it was good. It was easy to read. Well, actually, not really. It took me like 3 weeks to finish it.
Okay. All right. Now tell me, where's your favorite place to read?
I would say my teacher's classroom, but we're on camera. So.
Okay, good deal. Now, I'm going to get you to read a couple of pages of Forged by Fire. Could you do that for me, Zaire?
Yes, sir. Chapter 1. If you don't sit your stinking, useless butt back down in that shopping cart, I swear I'll bust your greasy face in. She screamed at the 3-year-old in front of her. He studied her face, decided she was serious, and put his leg back inside the cart. He was standing near the front end of the cart, amidst an assorted pile of cigarette boxes, egg cartons, and pop bottles. He didn't want to sit down anyway because of the soft, uncomfortable load in his pants, which had been there all afternoon and which felt cold and squishy when he moved too much. He rarely had an accident like that, but when he did, Mama sometimes made him keep it in his pants all day to teach him a lesson. Gerald was only 3, but he had already learned many such lessons. He'd never seen Sesame Street, never heard of Riverfront Stadium. He didn't even know he lived in Connecticut. But he knew the important things like never mess with Mama when she was in bed. Mama got real mad when you woke her up, especially if she had somebody in bed with her, and never touched the hot thing that Mama used to light her cigarettes, even if the mysterious orange and blue fire that comes out of it like to tease you and dance for only a moment before running out. Mama had once caught Gerald playing with the lighter, and she made the fire come out, and she held his hand right over the flame. It wasn't his friendly fire dancer, though, but a cruel red soldier that made his hand scream and made him dizzy with pain, and he could smell nothing like the meat Mama cooked. He could smell something like the meat Mama cooked, but it was his hand. When she stopped, she had washed his hand with cool water and soothed him with warm hugs and wrapped with salve and bandages the place where the fire soldier had stabbed him. She told him that she had done it for his own good and to teach him a lesson. He tried to tell her that he was trying to find the fire dancer, but she wasn't listening, and he had given up, thankful for the hugs and the silence. One other lesson that Gerald had learned was never, never stay near Mama when she sniffed the white stuff. She got it from a man named Leroy, who smelled too sweet and smiled too much. When he leaves, you hide behind the couch and hope Aunt Queen comes over, because sometimes Mama yells and gets her belt or her shoe and hits and hits and hits. And sometimes she just goes to sleep on the floor, and it gets dark and you cry and your tummy feels tight and hurt, but at least there's no shoe to run away from. Once Aunt Queen had found Gerald curled up behind the couch, sucking his thumb. His pajamas were soaked and smelly. He was shivering and hungry. Mama had been gone all day. She had told him not to leave the room, and he had really, really tried to be good, but he was so cold, so very cold. Aunt Queen had taken him to her apartment and given him a warm bath, a bowl of hot soup, and some warm, fuzzy sleepers, even though she had to pin the back of them so they wouldn't fall off. Then Mama had come, and she and Aunt Queen had yelled and screamed so much that Gerald had to hold his ears while he lay curled at the foot of the bed. Finally, Mama started crying, and Aunt Queen was saying stuff like, "I know, honey," and Gerald knew he was going back home. That night, Mama had hugged him and kissed him and held him close until he fell asleep. Gerald had felt so warm and special and golden. He wanted to feel like that forever. He knew his mama loved him. She had bought him a G.I. Joe man last week, and it wasn't even his birthday or Christmas or anything. And most days, she combed his hair and dressed him in clean clothes and told him to say, "Yes, ma'am," to grown folks. And sometimes on really good days, she would hug him and say, "You know you're my best baby boy, don't you, Gerald? You know you're my baby, don't you?" And he would smile, and that warm golden feeling would start at his toes and fill him all the way up to his smile. Even though Mama had yelled at him, today was a good day. Mama always yelled. It was no big deal. Some days he yelled back at her.
Okay, I want to thank you for that reading. I almost forgot where I was at. You know what I mean? I was just listening. That book solves the question of what book I will buy next. You know what I mean? Because now I have to read that book just from listening to those few pages. I'm convinced that that's a really good story right there. That's a heart-wrenching story too.
It is.
Yeah. So I again, like I said, I want to thank you for that, and thank you for that fine reading. And what we want to do is we're going to go to our next cool reader. We have Mr. Quavon Richardson. How you doing today, Quavon?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, now tell me, what grade are you in?
I am in the 8th grade.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 14 years old.
All right, and tell me, what book do you have for us today?
Today I got Going by Michael Grant.
Okay, now could you give me a little summary about Gone?
Well, it basically, all of those and everybody over 14 all disappeared. So everybody who's still there, they discovering powers, difficult powers they gotta control. It's a fight between good and evil.
Oh, wow.
One boy, he's trying to defend him, his best friend, and the girl he likes. And he met somebody he didn't even know.
And he had powers too.
Yeah. And towards the middle of the story, he found out that they're brothers, twins actually.
Had powers.
Yes,
Okay, now tell me, what kind of book is that?
it's a fictional book.
Okay. Now, which character did you like best in Gone?
Do I have to pick?
Well, give me two.
Okay. My favorite character will have to be Sam, who is the main character, and my next one would be Craig, his brother, the evil twin brother.
The evil twin. Okay, these were twins. Okay.
Born on the exact same day, 3 minutes apart.
3 minutes apart, but one was evil. Yeah, and both of them had powers. Okay. Now, does this book teach you any lessons?
Not really. Just
Not
always
really.
believe in yourself.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, would you recommend this book to the other students in your class?
I will.
Oh, okay. Now, if you could change any part of Gone, which part would you change?
The part where Sam's two best friends disappeared in front of his eyes. That was so sad and heartwarming moment.
Yeah, that was the good twin, right?
It was
His friend, the good twin's friends are disappeared
right in front of his eyes.
right in front of his eyes. Wow. Okay. How does reading books in your spare time help you when it comes to doing your classwork and taking tests? And
It helped me comprehend while I'm reading. Like if I can't really understand certain stuff, so I have to read it. Same way with
Okay.
all my spelling.
what was the most exciting part?
The most exciting part was when we found out he had the powers.
When he found out he had powers, that's okay. Well, I'm gonna get you to read a couple of pages for me from Gone. Could you do that?
Yes, sir. 1. 29 hours and 54 minutes. 1 minute the teacher was talking about Civil War, the next minute he was going, there, gone, no, poof, no flash of light, no explosion. Some Temple was sitting in third period history class, staring blankly at the board, but far away in his head he was down at the beach. He and Quinn, they're at the beach with their boards, yelling, breaking that first plunge into the cold Pacific water. For a moment he thought he had imagined it, the teacher disappearing. For a moment he thought he slipped into a daydream. Sam turned to Mary Tiffoni, who sat just to his left. You saw that, right? Mary was staring hard at the place where the teacher had been. Where's Mr. Tenderlake? It was Quinn Granger, Sam's best, maybe only friend. Quinn sat right behind Sam, the two of them favorite window seat, because sometimes if you caught just the right angle, you could actually see a tiny silver sparkling water between the school building and the homes beyond. He must have left, Mary said, not sounding like she believed it. Eldo, a new kid Sam found potentially interesting, said, no, man, poof. He did a thing with his fingers that was a pretty good illustration of the concept. Kids were staring at one another, craning their necks this way and that, giggling nervously. No one was scared. No one was crying. The whole thing seemed kind of funny. Mr. Timberlake, poof, said Quinn, with a suppressed giggle in his voice. Hey, someone said, where's Josh? His turned to look. Was he here today? Yes, he was here. He was right next to me, Sam recognized the voice. Betty, bouncing Betty. He just, disappeared. Betty said, just like Mr. Timberlake. The doors of the hallway opened. Everyone's eyes looked on it. Mr. Timberlake was going to step in, maybe with Josh, and explain how he pulled off the magic trick, and then get back to telling it in his same strange voice about Civil War nobody cared about. But it wasn't Mr. Timberlake. It was Astrid Ellis, known as Astrid the Genius, because she was a genius. Astrid was in all the AP classes in the school had. Some subjects she take online courses for the university. Astrid had shoulder-length blonde hair, liked to wear straight white sleeve blouses that never failed to catch Sam's eye. Astrid was out of his league, Sam knew that, but there was no law against thinking about her. Where's your teacher? Astrid asked. There was no collective shrug. He poofed, Quinn said, like maybe it was funny. You think he's going out in the hall, Mary asked. Astrid shook her head. Something weird is happening. The math student group, there were just 3 of us, plus the teacher. They all just disappeared. What? Sam said. Astrid looked right at him. He couldn't look away, like he normally would, because the grades wasn't challenging, skeptical, like it usually was. It was scared. Her normal sharp, decent blue eyes were wide, with way too much white showing. They're gone. They all just disappeared. What about your teacher? Edward asked. She's gone too. Astrid said, gone. Poof, said Quinn, not giggling so much now, starting to think maybe it wasn't a joke after all. Tell knows it sound more than one. Really, distant cars alarm coming from town. He stood up, feeling self-conscious, like it was really his place to do so. He walked on stiff legs to the door. Astrid moved away so he could step past her. He could smell her shampoo as he went by. Sam looked left, down towards room 211, the room where Astrid math work wonks met. The next door down, 213, a kid stuck out his head and had a half scared, half giggly expression like someone buckled into a roller coaster. The other direction, down at 207, kids were laughing too loud, freaking loud. 5th graders across the hall. Room 28. 3 6th graders suddenly burst out into the hall and stopped dead. They stared at Sam like he might yell at them. Pebble Beach School was a small town school with everyone from kindergarten to 9th grade all in one building. Elementary school and middle school together. Our school was our drive away in St. Louis.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for that reading. And they all disappeared out of the class.
They disappeared out of everywhere. Classes, out of work, out of businesses, out of homes.
Just poof.
Yes, gone.
Oh, that's
None of the kids can leave where they are. They can leave the building, but they can't go anywhere outside of the town. So like it's a big barrier over it.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you for that reading, Quavon. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a small break, and we'll be right back.
Where's Tommy?
I thought he was with you.
No.
Jack.
Tommy?
Go get him.
Don't stop. Keep playing. Here we go. Here's the fun part.
Did you do this?
Great job.
Encouragement. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong banging on your chest. You can beat the world, you can beat the war. You could touch a God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You can be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you can find yourself. Stand in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be a champion. Be a champion on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Yeah, yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions. Standing in the Hall of Fame.
Baby, tell me, where'd you ever learn to fight without saying no word? Then waltz back into my life like it's all gonna be alright. Don't you know how much it hurts when we don't talk, when we don't touch, when it doesn't feel like we're even in love? It matters to me when I don't know what to say, don't know what to do, don't know if it really even matters to you. How can I make you see it matters to me? When I don't know what to say, don't know what to do, don't know if it really even matters to you. How can I make you see it matters to me?
Oh, welcome back to the Cool Reader Show. Like I said, we're talking with Miss Jennifer Friedland from Philo Hill Magnet Academy. We had two of her readers on, cool readers, two her cool readers on earlier, which was Zaire Hawthorne and Quavon Richardson. And what I want you to do, what I want to tell you, is that this was not my first time meeting Quavon and Zaire. First time I met them was at the Battle of Books competition this year, where they were representing Philo Hill. And it was very inspirational to me. And now that we have Miss Freeland here, we're going to ask her a few questions about the Battle of the Books experience for our two fantastic readers, Zaire and Quavon. And how did that end up transpiring that they ended up being the only two to be in the competition from Philo Hill?
Well, it started out with, I had an interest meeting. This was the first time I'd ever participated in a Battle of the Books myself. So I, introduced it. I held an interest meeting, and at first there seemed to be a lot of interest in it, and then it just kind of dwindled down. I think once students saw that they were going to have to read a lot, they weren't real sure how it was going to play out for them, and they were like, oh, I'm going to have, so much to do, and not thinking, oh, okay, well, we can separate it with, having so many read this book and some read this book, and it ended up with Zaire and Quavon stuck it out, and they read as many books as they possibly could, and we had practices twice a week after school, and they would come in the mornings, and we have what we call Tiger Time in the morning from about 7:30 to 8 o'clock, and they would come in, they would get off the bus, they would go eat breakfast, check in with their teacher, and then they could come into the media center, and they could either use that time to read some of the books, or, because sometimes I know it's hard when you get home, and then they would practice questions. We would practice questions, and actually Zaire decided that he was going to go on YouTube and look up videos about Battle of the Books, and he just started watching a bunch of videos about other battles that had taken place, and he was listening to the types of questions that were being asked, and he even found some with some of the books that they had to read this past time. So he was really interested in looking at the videos too, to kind of get an idea about what to expect, because this was the first time that both of them participated as well.
So he did his research.
He did his research, for sure.
Okay. Now tell me a little bit about what's been going on with the media center over at Philo Middle.
Well,
Philo Hill. I'm sorry, Philo Hill.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
This is my first year as the media coordinator there. So it's kind of been a learning curve for me. I've taught in middle school before, excuse me, and it's, for me, I've been really excited because we have a flex schedule, so I'm able to, spend a lot of time researching, trying to find things for teachers if they ask me, or co-planning a lesson with them, and them coming in and us co-teaching together, which I absolutely love. And research, we've talked about research with some classes, and also book fair. We had a book fair in the fall, and we're actually having a book fair this week. So doing that, and actually just being able to be creative and with bulletin boards, and just trying to see what the kids like and all that. So it's been a really fun experience for me this year. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Okay. Now I know we're running close on time. So could you recommend like 2 books for my audience that they could get for their students?
Well, for elementary school, one of my favorite series to read was the Pippi Longstocking series. I've always loved those books, just because she went on so many adventures, and she was just this really independent girl that liked to be herself and was not afraid of anything. And so I really liked those chapter books when I was in elementary school. And when I taught elementary, I actually read those too. And then for middle school, there's so many series out right now that are really good. Everybody knows the Harry Potter and the Hunger Games, and there's the Lunar Chronicles, and the series that Quavon is actually reading right now, Gone, is another series. That's the first book in that series.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by. I want to thank you for all that you've done for Quavon and Zaire and making it possible for them to show up and everything. And I want to thank you for watching the Cool Reader Show.
Thank you for joining us on your school channel, Cable 2.